Hey, what's up everybody? It's Matt here with CF Pro Tools. In today's video, I wanted to show you guys a few cool things about how you can set up an EverWebinar webinar, which would be a webinar that is evergreen and allows somebody to log in and see your page, see your registration page, and register, and then come and watch your webinar like every 15 minutes, or what's considered just in time. All right, so let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do, and I'm going to go real quick through the basics of this setup. So if you're in ClickFunnels, this is in ClickFunnels Classic specific, what you're going to want to do is just go in and create a funnel. We're going to build a new funnel, and what I'm going to set up is a webinar. So we're going to do host webinar, choose, and we're going to do a webinar replay. So this is going to be for an evergreen. If you want to do live, you can do that. That would be more for Webinar Jam or a live, something like GoToWebinar, Zoom. You could even use, a number of different programs where you want to stream live. I'm going to use Webinar Replay, but what that's going to do is it's going to create 4 pre-designed funnel steps for me. So what I'm going to do is just call this Test CF Pro Tools Evergreen Webinar Funnel. And I'm going to build the funnel. So what this is going to do is it's going to create very specific auto webinar pages for me. So you can see the auto webinar registration, and then I've got a webinar countdown. What I need is these particular pages, specifically this auto webinar registration, which oddly, the only way that I can create this and get this tab right here for auto webinar templates is by creating it like that. So I'm just going to use what we have available. So I'm going to grab this particular one, and for the time being, I'm not going to mess around too much with these other pages. So what I'm going to focus on is this particular page. Now let's do this real quick. So that you're going to want to go into your settings, go into your account settings, and you're going to want to go to your integrations. And you're going to want to make sure that you have an EverWebinar integration. If you don't, click Add New Integration. Just type it in. If you can't find it real quick, just type in EverWebinar, and then it's going to look for an API key, an integration nickname, which is just a way for you to recognize which integration it is when you go to set it up. So what we want is for our registrations to go into EverWebinar. So on the Webinar Jam side, or EverWebinar, so this is what it would look like over there. I have basically a test web stream or a live stream that I had created in the past. There's a couple other ones here. This one's set up for just in time. It runs every 15 minutes. So I'm not going to get into setting up all of this here, but just know that you can set up your webinars, set them up for just in time, set them up for specific days and times. I like just in time. It's just a lot easier. What this is going to give me, additionally, these auto webinar pages are going to give me some webinar settings. So I'm going to go in here. Normally you wouldn't see this setting, but you're going to be able to set this for pick date and time, top of the hour, every X minutes. So you could just run this every top of the hour, every X minutes. We're going to set it for every X minutes, every 15 minutes here. And what I'm going to do then is, what if I want to set a countdown timer that works with that? So I'm going to set a let's see if I can, hopefully this works. Auto webinar at here. So it's going to give me 2 things. It's going to tell me the time, but it's based on that setting that I just set. Not going to get into any major updates, but just going to change a few little things. Now, let's come over here, just because I'm kind of OCD and I don't like it when things get a little uneven. So I'm going to put an auto webinar countdown over here. You can kind of see it. Change the theme. I'm going to make it so that's yellow over here. So now I have, actually, let's see if I can see white subtle. That way you can see the hours, minutes, and seconds below. Now this should be, and this should be, so the date and the time here and the hours, minutes, and seconds should be in line with our webinar settings every X minutes, every 15 minutes. So the first thing I'm going to do is go, okay, great. I'm glad this works. Let's save this page. Let's go preview the page and make sure that that's functional. So it's actually 1:15 right now, so it's probably going to give me a time that's real close to 15 minutes. So it says the next one is at 12:30, and hours, minutes, and seconds, 14 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's approximately correct. All right, so we're going to get back into this here in just a second. But let's go back to the editor over here, and we want to be able to register with Webinar Jam. Let's see how that works. So let's go to settings, tracking code. No, we're not going to do that. Integrations. We're going to go here. We're going to go to EverWebinar and action. We want to, it doesn't even have what we need, which should be add to a list in EverWebinar. Let's see what that does. Let's see if it even connects to my EverWebinar. All right, let's see if we can reset that webinar API. So if you guys haven't followed EverWebinar for the last decade, they change a lot. and I set that integration up a long time ago. So we're going to go into our account and go to API custom integration. And I'm just going to add a new integration here and save. All right, new EverWebinar. It doesn't say that it didn't work. So settings, integrations. All right, I'm going to remove that. So let's new EverWebinar. So it's at the bottom there. Select an integration. Register to a webinar session. All right, well, I think we're on to something here, and they're all in here. That's cool. I like how that works. What we're going to do now is we want to click into, so these buttons open up the pop-up. So what we're going to do is go to the pop-up, show the pop-up, and there's a couple different options. There was an option to run it at a couple different dates and times. That's what these are for. I'm actually going to remove these here and put, I'm actually going to put our auto webinar countdown in here and set up a theme here. I'm just going to do green, that way it matches this. And so we're looking for name, email address. We want this information to be passed over to EverWebinar. So let's click that. Let's click save. So 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Let's register my spot under the name Bob. So let's use that. Let's register this spot. And then what we want to do, let's go back here, because now I want to see who, if anybody, registered for that webinar. So we're going to say Mad Livestream, Session, All Sessions, and Event, All Time. Let's hit Bob 17, and we can see that did collect that information here, which means any follow-on integrations to like an email autoresponder, like ActiveCampaign or something, that would all take place through EverWebinar from this side. Okay. The next thing I want to do is see if this information also collected in ClickFunnels. So we're back here. Let's take a quick look and see if our information was collected here. Bob 17. So it did. Bob 17 at Gmail. So we now have the information here. What you could set up is an automation here, and you could actually set up triggers here so that when somebody opts in, that they are added to a specific list. You could add them to a follow-up funnel inside of ClickFunnels. That way you could add them to like ActiveCampaign from there, or you could give them some emails like, hey, here's a confirmation. That's probably your best bet. Kind of get in and play around with it, play around with your options, and start getting your webinars created. There's a few other cool things that you can do with the CF Pro Tools side if you want to start injecting more conversion boosting add-ons to your registration page, to your webinar countdown pages, and your order pages. There's a lot of cool things going on here. If you have questions, always hit us up at CF Pro Tools, support at cfprotools.com. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, and I will plan on seeing you guys in a future video. All right, take care.